Hey guys, if you guys are on Instagram, please come over to YouTube. We are live with the Explain It podcast with Ingryd and Steven out here in Boston. I know this looks weird, and it's because I'm in my hotel room and it's super loud out here. So I had to just come and do this from my podcast or from my room. You may see a couple of gals come in afterwards too, because they're my roommates. And so, but with us today, because I don't want to butcher any names, we have Spencer Nicoletti.
Nicoletti.
Oh,
pretend the A is like, oh.
Nicoletti. Yeah. Spencer Nicoletti and Nidra
Bobo Boils.
Okay. So I didn't know I wrangled up like the only two Wisconsin people in Owners Club. And here they are with me. I know out of all the people I could have wrangled, I wrangled. I don't know. They must be big drinkers, maybe.
No.
Well, I hear that about Wisconsin.
That is true.
There's like the most most bars per capita ever, or something like that.
Cities in America.
I
didn't bring any cheese.
No.
Sorry,
I
cheese.
actually did, but
Drew is in the comments. Drew, are you in Boston? Tell me. Or were you just getting people prepared? So Drew, SubTo Drew, is somebody who he's out of Houston. He's in the comments, and I know he was getting people ready for like the what did we work on? The keynote. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So you guys are going to probably have to come in a little closer because this wide angle is only so wide. I will try my best. So don't worry about this one because this is just my phone.
Okay.
Here, we'll do this. This is just my phone, and maybe I'll do like a little different angle so that people can see us better. We're getting cozy here.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. So you guys are an Owners Club.
Mm-hmm.
Like how was it going so far? So when did we join? In March or April?
Squad Up.
Yeah, Squad Up
So that
Summit
would
in
have been
Florida.
April.
Yes.
April. Okay.
Last April.
Right on.
Yeah.
And so
it was a great time.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Squad Up. And if you guys haven't gotten your Squad Up tickets, they're in Dallas at the end of March. So if you are a real estate investor or a would-be real estate investor, highly recommend you guys come out and join us. We had such a great time.
Absolutely.
Great speakers, great everything.
Gosh. And it was the first Squad Up. But
it was the inaugural Squad Up. Yeah. And then for all of you asking, like, what is Squad Up? Squad Up is
they should come to it so they can find out.
Oh, this is true.
That's right.
No, you can tell them a little bit, I suppose.
So squatting up is when you do business and collaborate with other folks in that complement you. Maybe you have money but don't have a deal. And so I would go to Nidra. I'd be like, Nidra, I need a deal in Wisconsin. Nobody needs a deal in Wisconsin.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Send them all to me.
Yeah. And so and you would literally squat up. You would collaborate. It's essentially what that is. Drew said he won't be here until tomorrow evening. That's whack. Registration starts tonight at 5 p.m.
That's right.
And so that's what Squad Up is about. It's about pushing people to get to know other folks, network, and do deals together. Yeah. So I have never made any money in this world without other people being involved. That literally is the energy of money. Like the energy of money is that it has to be shared. And the more value you can provide to this world, meaning the more people you can connect with, literally the more money you can make. I was actually watching this thing where it said, like, why do athletes make so much more money than doctors? And let's put aside the moral piece of it or like the very intelligent components to this. The reason why is because athletes, professional athletes, reach a much larger population. So they're paid in accordance to the value and the entertainment they provide. They touch a lot more people. They entertain a lot more people. Thus, they get more money. Yeah. So that is the energy of money. Again, if I get hurt, I would much rather have a doctor helping me than a professional athlete. But that's not what's at measure. It's how many folks are you helping or providing some form of value. And so that's technically a perspective I hadn't thought about before. And I was like, oh, I love this. This makes a whole lot of sense.
For sure.
So let's get to know you guys a little bit. So Nidra, You've been in real estate for 20 years?
Yeah, over 20 years.
That's fantastic.
I know. I only look like I'm 25, but
I know. Well, black don't crack.
forever
so
20, right? Black don't crack.
The crusty whites do. Like I got a little crackulation going on. But anyway.
Forever 27 is what I like to say.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So, I was telling you earlier, I live in Wisconsin, and I came to Wisconsin from Chicago area to go to school, UW-Madison.
There you go.
Yeah. And so I
Go
have
Bucky.
go Bucky.
That's right.
I have 3 wonderful
I don't know what they're
children.
talking about. Go
Bucky
Devils.
Badger.
Oh, okay, go
Bucky
Devils.
We're gonna start
Badger.
talking like this, and
Oh yeah,
up in Eau Claire
right?
and go up to the UP there.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, so I have 3 lovely children.
Mm.
They're all grown, and I even have a grandchild.
You're
Yeah.
a grandma?
I'm a grandma.
Oh, you're
Oh,
not.
my.
Actually, I'm a-
I want to look that good.
I'm
when
a grandma.
Oh, grandma. I love it. I love it.
But so one of the things I like to say is
Uh-huh.
with my kids, like I said, they're all grown,
Uh-huh.
but their dad, so
Mhm.
it's my ex.
Oh,
I am
okay.
remarried,
Oh, all right.
but their dad, he was the one that got into real estate first.
Mm.
So by training, I was a food scientist.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, love food. Food safety,
Mhm.
trained with
I
McDonald's.
was in food service forever.
Oh, really?
20 years.
20 years of
Yeah,
food service.
I would have rather taken the real estate side, but yeah, I have very strong opinions about food service now.
Well,
and just the trash that it's become.
I
Sorry.
can believe
Sorry,
that.
it's the truth.
No. So I understand that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I had worked with McDonald's Corporation
Mhm.
and Oscar Mayer Kraft Foods. So
Mhm.
that's kind of my food
Background.
science back.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I had this business entrepreneurship piece
Mhm.
too when I was going through UW for food science.
Like a
So-
calling.
Yeah, I took 15 credits of business. It was like
Oh.
I had food science and a business, what they call the business industry option.
Mm.
So I always knew I had this entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
Bug? Streak in me.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, it's a story. My grandmother and grandfather, we owned stores.
Yeah.
And I used to work in a store and all
Oh,
that stuff.
I love that.
Owned my own candy shop at 9 years old.
Oh.
So I always had this sales thing in me.
Mhm,
So when the kid's dad, he's the one that got into real estate first
mhm.
with some friends of ours, purchased some rentals. And then one day they sent me to go pick up the rent money. People were giving me cash.
Oh my.
And I'm like, oh no, guys, we got to do something about this. So anyway, long story short, that's kind of how things got started for me. I kind of was like, I saw an infomercial flipping houses.
Oh, for
and
sure. They
next
used to
thing
be
you
all.
know,
I don't watch TV
yeah.
anymore, but I remember that used to put me to sleep.
But I was like, I want to do that. So
Yeah.
next thing you know, I'm going to auctions, and I ended up leaving my full-time job back in 2003.
Mm.
And that same month that I left the Oscar Mayer, I purchased 2 properties through auction.
Mm.
And I ended up making more money that year, hardly knowing anything that I was doing. It was like what they call innocence on fire.
Mhm.
That's what I was.
You just took action.
I did. And I was making like $80,000 at that time, my full-time job. And to start making even more than that, it was pretty crazy. That was really good money. So that's kind of how things got started for me in the whole real estate piece.
Mm.
And I was really enjoying it. And next thing you know, so we got property rentals. And next thing you know, I told you how I got my broker's license.
Mhm, mhm.
I wasn't trying to be a real estate agent.
Yeah.
I was an investor,
Yeah.
but you end up making friends, people want
Mhm,
houses.
mhm.
Next thing you know, it's like, I might as well just go
Mhm.
ahead and do it. So right now I have a small brokerage with 4 agents, and
sweet.
yeah.
I'm
And
a realtor too.
yes.
Yes. Oh, all of us right here.
Well,
Let's
yeah,
go.
you are too. That's
Yeah.
right.
Unicorn realtor.
That's
Ooh.
right.
Oh my God, guys!
Unicorn
For
realtors.
Halloween. Okay, I have to show you guys what I'm gonna do.
Uh-oh.
For
She-
Halloween.
She's got it.
Unicorn.
Do it.
You
Do
got
it.
the unicorn.
I'm
She
gonna
does.
be a unicorn. Okay,
That's awesome.
so what I plan to do here is because I'm writing a unicorn.
Yes.
So I'm putting a label on the unicorn that says unicorn agent, and then a wholesaler with a tag that says writing this unicorn agent to the bank.
I love it.
Nice.
That's
So,
pretty cool.
That's creative.
That is creative. Yeah.
yeah. Very cool.
We should have matching ones.
Well, and when people ask me, should I get my real estate license? I always say yes,
I do too.
because it's just another tool in your toolbox. It makes
Absolutely.
you more lethal. Like for me, I call people and I scorch the earth with my license. I'm like, oh, must be a wholesaler. You know, they don't even take ethics classes.
Right.
There's no standard. You might be
Right.
talking to an ex-felon. I don't know.
That's
I had to do my fingerprints, my background check. They had to make sure
Yeah.
I was not a nuisance to society.
Yeah.
And so,
And when you do continuing education,
Mhm.
don't you? Well, at least we do. There's a question about, do you have any convictions?
We're gonna do one since you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, they check you out.
That's what I'm saying. So when people ask me, should I get my license? And if that's not you, you don't have to worry about that. I would
Right.
say that's how you can scorch the earth when you're talking to would-be sellers, and how you differentiate yourself.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's a standard. Again, not every agent's great. I have one right now where like we're trying to buy a cash deal in Tempe, Arizona,
Mhm.
3-2 townhouse. Very cute. By the way, if any of you are interested in a 3-2 Tempe townhouse, we're gonna sell it for like $325.
Mhm.
But if we get you under contract, we will pay concessions. But you need to reach out to me ASAP, right?
Nice.
But anyway, see, always be selling ABCs.
All the time.
Always be closing.
ABCs. That's right. Always be closing.
But that agent didn't have any of the fundamental information that's required to sell traditionally. And here they were, their listing expired. They're still involved because of how the wholesaler got the deal.
Sure.
And they still don't have any of the information I need. I need to know it's an HOA. I need to know, does the master insurance cover what's only inside or only outside the walls? When's the last time the roof got done? Like, there's fundamental questions that an agent's supposed to collect before they even list. And he didn't have any of that info. And I'm like, come on now.
You got to teach them.
I know, right?
Part can be a little annoying, but
yeah. Well, I love your origin story. So, are you still looking for more deals? Where are you looking for deals?
I'm looking for deals all over the place.
And so what are your goals? Is it to fix and flip, to buy and hold? What's the goal?
All right. So I'm kind of like a combination. All right. Because even currently my business, even before I came into the community here, I have a property management side. So managing, about 40 doors.
Oh.
And so I have the realty piece, the investing piece, and then there's also a training component, which that's the piece that's the fourth one when I have more time.
Training, like continuing
real
education?
estate, like real estate training to people who want to learn more about it, or even first-time home buyers, and helping folks do that. And what's been really cool is seeing, helping some of my tenants convert over into home ownership. So I got one that has done that, and you're
an investor with a heart.
And have another one that's looking to do the same
that's
thing.
Super cool. And if you can find them wraps, that's even easier.
It sure is.
And we've had a podcast about wraps. Essentially, she becomes the bank for them because she already has the history. You can pre-qualify them to some extent. You should still use an RMLO to qualify them. That's like the right way to do it as an investor. And then you can get them in there like ASAP.
Exactly.
I love that.
And working with people in the community, that's why it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
If I were to buy property in Madison, would you manage it?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
I
Look
can
at this.
definitely.
Wait.
And likewise,
do I get a fee?
I
I brokered this right here?
we can give you a connector fee.
Yeah.
We can give you a connector
I'll
fee.
buy you a steak down
Okay.
there.
Let's go.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
made a reservation for tomorrow night. You guys were in the food industry. I just like to eat food.
I do too. But the I should say,
Well, look, I'm not chunky because I don't like to eat. I'm just saying, I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was getting poisoned for the last whatever.
Right. Oh, that's
a whole different episode.
it is.
I got Christine on Instagram, even though you guys should come over to YouTube. Much easier to interact with your feedback if you're on YouTube. Christine says, if you're looking to invest in Charlotte, North Carolina, she is your go-to. I definitely would consider Charlotte, North Carolina because I have family there. And so we love Charlotte. It's very beautiful. So Spencer, let's turn it on you. So, what's your origin story? How'd you get started in real estate?
Oh boy. So I can tell you, everyone watching this, I said the same thing on the Get Creative podcast with Kayla. I was just on with him. You know,
I do.
Periscope?
I'm one of the hosts.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome.
You could have picked me.
I just showed up and
I'm just
his smiling face was there like,
I'm
hey.
kidding. I'm kidding. I do mine
What's
on
his name?
Mondays.
Keola.
Kaola.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He like switches time between Hawaii and Utah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Super nice guy. So everyone watching this has a massive leg up on me for where you are, especially if you're an owner's club. When I got started in real estate, had a negative net worth of $60,000 because we were 60 grand in credit card debt.
Mm.
2 kids, 1 on the way, married,
Wow,
living in
actually really love this.
living in subsidized housing. We had to temporarily go on food stamps. Like I just a lot of failed businesses and sales careers, not knowing what I want to do when I grew up. So I remember where I was sitting in my little subsidized house living room with the desk about half the size that we're sitting on here. And I found an article by Mark Cuban and I'm reading it and they interviewed Mark Cuban.
I love Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
I wish he would run for president.
I want to meet him someday.
Well, we're conjuring that up.
Yeah. I want to meet him so I can thank him. So the interviewer asked him, hey, Mark, if you lost everything, what would you do to get it back? And he said, I'd work a high paying sales job in the day and I'd bartend nights and weekends. And I heard that and something clicked. I'm like, and I was just kind of getting to know someone named Josh Newman. I'm forever grateful for Josh. He's my broker now, about becoming a realtor. And then I was like, I can bartend. And so I went on Craigslist right after that. And bam, right there, when Craigslist was cool. Now it
does.
I went on there and
now I feel like you're going to get murdered.
I found my first deal ever on Craigslist. And I was like, there's nothing on there. But I went on there, $15 an hour plus tips, bartending weddings, a mile down the road.
Nice.
It's just like God, like showing this little ray of sunshine from the heavens. So I did that, and I was naive enough to go, I'm not going to do it part-time. I'm a full-time realtor. I'm not going to be one of these part-timers. And I bartended nights and weekends. And I told my wife, I'm like, you're not going to see much of me like for a whole year.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be out pounding the pavement. And our first year, I did really well as a real estate agent, did 28 deals.
Nice.
And I bartended nights and weekends, corporate events, 100-hour work weeks.
Let's pause that for a moment because he went through that really, really fast. The average real estate agent does about $40,000. A full-time real estate agent does about $40,000 a year.
Yep.
That means, what's the average
commission?
Like 7 to 8 grand.
Yeah.
Right. So they're doing about.
Well, and that depends on which market you're in.
Right.
I'm going to start a market.
My market is great.
People.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah. So he had to work twice as hard as somebody like me who does make between, I'll say 6 to 10 now. It's actually decreased per deal that we're doing. So if we're going to, what's that math? Like 8 deals, maybe 7 deals or something like that, in order to make that kind of money with the kind of commissions you're making. So I'm definitely not glamorizing being an agent. You have to go, you got to pound the pavement as Spencer mentioned.
That's right.
And again, because I was in a higher appreciating market. Like when I actually started my real estate license in 2013, I was a part-time agent and I was able to hit around 70 to 100K because I was I didn't have to make as many deals happen. So
I remember when Josh.
Oh, so what's the owners club? We're going to get there. We are going to get there. You get these really nice shirts too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Josh sent me that email and he's like, dude, like at the end of the year, they send you your W-9 or whatever, your 1099, whatever.
1099.
Yeah. And he sent me an email and said, bro, you made just over $100,000 this year. And I would have thought I was the richest man in the world. I'm just like, and I quit my bartending job. And then he started telling me, I remember when I rode in a vehicle with him down to an event, he told me about how first of all, I was like, whoa, hold on a second. So if I sell someone a $300,000 house, I'm going to make how much money for doing that as their agent? I'm like, I was literally before this going door to door selling TV and internet for CenturyLink. I would get paid $200 for selling a TV and internet package.
Yeah.
Knocking doors in January in Wisconsin.
Oh, man.
How terrible that is. Freezing, dark by 5. It's awful. So, and then he told me how, and I refinanced my 16 unit that I have. Pulled out like 150 grand of tax-free money. Tax-free money. He bought his conversion van or Sprinter van because he has 6 kids.
Right.
And then he banked the rest. I'm like, wait a second. what did you just tell me?
Mhm.
What is a refinance? How
Mhm.
did you do tax-free money? And like, it just planted the seed
That's right.
for me to be like, I got to learn about buying real estate.
There
Yeah.
you go.
And I mean, today we have an extensive portfolio. I got started just over 7 years ago.
That's
Fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We went from 0 to right now we have about 250 doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wait. 250 doors?
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy
Awesome.
smokes.
Mostly in Wisconsin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
But it was like, I not like, it just took someone, Josh Newman,
Yeah.
to just, I'm forever grateful for that.
That's right.
Newman.
To just plant the seed.
Yeah.
Newman, if you see this, I tell him all the time. I'm like, thanks for getting me introduced. to
And
real
you
estate."
went looking like the seed was planted,
Oh yeah.
but then there was some watering going on. You were doing a lot of watering.
Yeah, because
yourself. You went
and I
seeking.
just posted this
That's
today on my
awesome.
Instagram where it's like entrepreneurship is just a financial strategy to get paid for self-growth.
Self-growth.
Because
Yeah,
if
just
you
like
if you don't focus on the self-growth,
That's right.
your entrepreneurship ain't gonna pay you
That's
nothing.
right.
Mhm.
You gotta have the hunger within.
Yeah. Yeah, and the want to become a different
Yeah.
person, the want to actually go after it. So that is so amazing.
Yeah, the eye of the
very
tiger.
Cool. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right, bro.
250, that's like a goal of mine. I am not that at that range. Most of my units, they're units though, because doors. So you have multifamily in there?
Multifamily, single family,
Yeah.
Duplexes.
Yeah.
Mixed.
The biggest building we have is 28 units.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I've only done single family homes. I almost bought a duplex, but then I wholesaled it to Pace so that I could have the first wholesale deal that Eric, his videographer, could do.
Oh,
Because
really?
I was like,
That's cool.
I could buy this and actually it cash flowed, or I could have Eric's first story. And for me, the story was more
That's
important.
neat.
That's cool.
But that's
cool.
part of what Pace has taught us, right?
Sharing
Like,
is caring.
well, not just that, is that the story is what you can use to leverage against getting more deals.
This is
so
true.
I strongly believe that I'll be able to do better deals
Yeah.
simply because I helped Eric out.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
okay. So Owners Club, what is Owners Club? So Owners Club is like a higher elevation of a mastermind. Despite other masterminds though, where you join, it's really just about the networking. What we like literally are is we actually own, do we own 2 companies together now?
I know at least 2. And then
Company property, yeah.
got the
Prop AI
right,
and
Creative
Creative
Title.
So as being a part of Owners Club, you literally are an owner. And part of this, I'll call it just a mastermind, is they teach you how to scale yourself out of being a business owner. At least that's the goal, but also to add more clarity to your business. So I loved the Mount Everest exercise.
I think it was a great exercise.
Yeah. Did you guys complete your Mount Everest exercise?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get yours. What
Yeah.
was yours? And yes, we will be here for the meetup on Friday. Whoever asked, I'm sorry. So
I can only give you a portion of my
All right.
Mount Everest. I spoke with Pace about it, and in essence, it's establishing an endowment for my family. That's basically it. So I had, like I told Pace, I said I have this Mount Everest with probably 5 other peaks around it because there's just so many things I want to accomplish. But that Mount Everest, it was like, how did he describe it? It's like once we pass away, you feel like, oh, I did it. I accomplished what I wanted to do.
right. When you're on your deathbed, can you look back and say, I gave it all?
Yeah. I did this. So basically that's what it is. It's like right here, right now, I want to be able to end the whole financial discussion going forward in my family. It's like, let's just get this thing handled.
Yeah.
Instead of robbing Peter to pay Paul and all this kind of stuff.
Have you read the book What Would the Rockefellers Do?
Yes, in fact, that's what he recommended to me.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. And so that and doing that,
And
that's
be your own
definitely
bank.
Yep. Infinite banking, right? So I'm looking for an RV park.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm putting that out there.
That was a pivot.
Yeah, I know. So this is right. But that's in essence, that's what will help feed my Mount Everest.
Yeah. So the gals who I'm rooming with here in this beautiful, beautiful place called the Encore in Boston.
It is beautiful.
If you guys are in Boston, almost said Arizona, Boston, Massachusetts, definitely come see us on Friday. There's a big meetup with Jamil, Jerry, and Vina Jetty? No, I don't remember.
I don't know.
But it's definitely being hosted by the SubTo New England crew. So Justin Timanowski and a lot of folks will be there. I'm excited to see them. And because they're always on our side of the country. So finally we're on their side. So which is kind of cool. And hey, Dirty Ralph. I don't know. Nice to see you.
Nice
on
name,
Instagram,
Dirty.
something like that. Anywho, definitely come see us. But as far as that, I was so intrigued by the whole infinite banking thing that I went and got my life insurance license. Literally,
did you? You
it
got
was
your license.
Oh yeah. It was a Thursday. I had dinner with a group. No, it was a Friday. I had dinner with a GFI group, GFI, a global financial something impact, global financial impact. So Randy Sicarios, Johnny Sepulveda, that's who I was eating with. And then they introduced me to this guy named David Fox, but they're like, you're around so many people who ask about what infinite banking is. You're not leveraging like the place of influence you're in. And I was like, well, tell me more. What do you mean? And I was like, so if I send you people who are interested in like, what kind of referral would I get?
Right.
They're like, the most we could pay you is $100. And I was like, oh, dang. And I was like, okay, well, that's something. And then they're like, but if you will go and get your license, you'll get 30% of the premium of like the commission.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Now that
was a Friday. By the following Friday, I was licensed.
Well, dang, don't you usually got to study and take some exams?
Yes.
How many exams?
I took one.
Oh, it was just one?
Yes. It was the one primary exam. Yeah. I'm a great test taker.
I gotta read that book.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
What would the Rockefellers do? And there's another one called Be Your Own Bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, not that this podcast is about the infinite banking. I did do a podcast with Devin Burr, who's the one that like opened my eyes up to that. So I used to go to this meetup called Soul Pod, and Devin Burr would talk about infinite banking. And I was like, what do you mean? And so actually they asked me what I wanted my landing page to be for this like opportunity. And I was like, secureyourmoney.com. So what happens is you first, like, the reason I was so late connecting with you guys, I was on the phone with a gal who has like $200,000. And she's like, I want to use that money for a down payment on a house. And then she's like, I want to make sure my kids are taken care of and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait a minute. Before you use that $200K to like go buy a house creatively, because that's what she called me about. Could I help her buy a house creatively? I said, absolutely, I can. So if you guys have an opportunity, 1-story house, she's, in her 50s. So she wants to have like a 1-story house to live. Well, she wants to live in Ahwatukee, but anywhere in East Valley. So Chandler, Arizona. Tempe, Gilbert, Arizona. So I told her, girl, I got you. But
add me to your list.
Yeah. I said, before we do that though, let's go secure your money. So that $200K, right? Yeah. Depending. I told her, you might not want to do it all at once. Yeah. But what you do is you overfund your policy. I said maybe between 125, 150. Then you have access to 90% of it within 30 days. Yeah. And then we use that money to go buy your property. She's like, well, I want to get the house before the end of the year though. Could we put all this together before then? I said, there's a possibility we may or we may not, because the holidays will slow things down. But that's how good I am. Yeah. That we can say, let's put 10 or 20K towards this purchase so that we can at least secure it and change the deed over before the year end. Mm-hmm. And then you have like another 90 days to finish paying the rest. Maybe it is $150,000 down. Mm-hmm. So she's like, oh, I could do that. I was like, yeah, it's just a delay in what your promise to whatever seller it is. And that's how you have to start thinking more creatively. Like your goal is buy before the end of the year. I'm sure if it's a motivated enough seller, their goal is just to sell. Yeah. So if we have to, negotiate that down payment when it gets there, why not? Right. She's like, wow, I never would have thought of that. I was like, you got to practice, man. You got to practice to be creative.
That's sweet. Yeah. I'm not too familiar with all that.
Yeah. Just a delayed down payment.
Yeah. No.
You could just say, okay, we'll close this. It's just like a balloon. Mm-hmm. So you're saying like, hey, I'll pay you this much right now. And then I promise to pay the rest whatever the time frame looks
Yeah.
like. Now you'll want a servicing company in the middle.
Yeah.
So that way there's no issue. So if she doesn't satisfy it, then that house needs to go back to the
Yeah,
seller.
I'm doing that with I actually got 9 units I'm buying from a guy,
Yeah.
a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that. We're doing installment payments.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over 6
Perfect.
months. Yep. Okay.
You
Yeah.
got it.
Sweet.
But at least we can transfer the deed for her to get to the goal that she wants, which is this year, so that she can offset some of her taxes.
Sweet.
So, and then I'm connecting her with the CPA to figure out
See, all of that. Yeah. All those
yeah.
different
Yeah.
wheels. need to work
100%.
together.
What does it say? Okay. Can you help set this up? Absolutely. I don't have my my landing page set up yet, but if you guys are interested, it's life insurance Chancho Sweats. What is it? You guys have some very curious names on Instagram. But yeah, DM me the word life, and then I'll connect you guys to my landing page, which is supposed to be done in the next week or two. So would love to help anybody who is interested. Nacho Libre. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, so that's the way it goes. So your Mount Everest is the endowment, and there's ways that you can secure your money. I literally had a friend of mine lend 90,000 and it was a fraud transaction, but because he had first secured his money with the policy, and then his money didn't just go bye-bye.
Hey, that's
You
so
know,
wonderful.
that's why I say secure your money first,
secure
right?
the money.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what about yours? What was your Mount Everest?
So I missed Arizona because I was in Canada fishing with my boys and my dad and some friends.
You
but
missed, you missed the
making
retreat
memories.
that we
where I
talked
was-
about, the
yeah.
Mount Everest.
However,
That sounds like excuses, but go ahead.
You
it's funny,
caught
my
up.
license plate says no excuses.
Uh-huh.
I'll be on it. However, so my Mount Everest it's kind of a two-part, and it's not like super specific, but my wife and I love to travel. We homeschool our kids. We have 4 kids.
Oh, okay.
So we have the ability to where we can just, hey, let's go live somewhere else for 2 months.
Nice.
Sure.
So I want to be able to be anywhere in the world, living in a different location, living life with my wife and kids, and still be able to operate my business in real estate.
That's right.
And TC Collective, shout out to the ladies there. Brenda, Heather,
Yes.
Daniela, they're awesome. We hire them because I've made a beautiful mess. It's so messy. And if I keep doing this and don't have someone like them organizing everything, it's going to eventually, I'm going to burn out. So they've been phenomenal. But that, and I want to lift people out of financial poverty.
Yeah.
Mainly through real estate, because I do think that a lot of kids are set up for failure when it comes to finances.
Absolutely.
They're not taught a lot about a lot of essential things in school. I mean, most kids don't know how to balance a budget. They don't know anything about mortgages or property taxes or insurance. Like I remember when the COVID moratorium happened, and they made it so tenants didn't have to pay rent for a while.
Yeah.
We had 5 tenants that took us for 6 months of rent. It sucked. But however, so there were people commenting that were just saying, well, why don't you just ask the bank to not have to make your mortgage payments? You should be fine. And I'm thinking,
really?
So you have no idea that we have to pay property taxes, insurance. If their furnace goes out, we have to replace it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, is our generation just so that ignorant to where they weren't taught about this simple financial stuff? And Dave Ramsey, he's great for 95% of the population, but I just think there's the 5% that like they want to create wealth.
Right.
Well, I'll say this: 99% need Dave Ramsey to get started.
Yes, 100%.
Because you need to get your finances under control. I love his baby step stuff. Like, go get your finances under control, and then once you have the confidence that you've not lied to yourself, that you've actually done what you said you're going to do, like getting them under control, then you can start thinking entrepreneurial. Like, how do I? Like that's
getting your training wheels.
I would say that
wheels,
I say that that's like the most basic, right? Now there's some of you out there that can think of a business idea, run a business, and like, to the moon, which is wonderful. But for those of us who are more traditionally set of how we scale, like I think it's appropriate, but that's wonderful. Yeah. So your Mount Everest is how do you fix your business in a way that you can travel whenever, enjoy your family,
live life wherever.
And then how do you create a program for people who need that financial literacy, especially the young ones? So mine and Steven's well, I guess I don't need to switch it yet, but mine and Steven's Mount Everest is we want to help 1,000 seniors over the next 5 years move from their personal home to senior living in a sustainable long-term
Awesome.
way.
Yeah.
So the very specific,
Yeah.
that's exact, like that's, and we understand that market. So especially as like people in the investment world, we know that the biggest wealth transfer is coming from seniors.
Yeah.
So, but what we also understand, especially in the Sun Belt states like Arizona, Florida, and Texas, you have seniors who moved into those areas because they didn't want to live in like Wisconsin where they had to deal with furnaces
Cold,
and snow in
yeah.
the winter.
No
Although
birds.
Texas can get a little cold too, but they may have moved without family and they may have limited friends. And so what they need is trusted individuals that they can sell their properties to and help them transition into that senior, long-term care space. So maybe it might be memory care, might be skilled nursing, it might be assisted living, it might be even independent living, although we see that to be folks who need us a little bit less. So our goal is to set up this business where we're getting these types of leads from other senior living facilities. So when you guys saw me, maybe if you saw me post on my Instagram that I need more connections with executive directors at senior living,
There you go.
Placement agencies, placement agents,
Building your pipeline.
correct, directors of hospitals. And we want to do this nationwide, but we're putting together the business and proof of concept in Arizona first. And then our goal is to sell this franchise out to other states so that they can serve these seniors who need it. Like we're going to make people have their real estate licenses because that means that their background has been checked. Fingerprints have been done because you're serving a very vulnerable community. And we want to make sure that they're going to be taken care of. And again, not to say that the agents are the most ethical, but it has to be some level of barrier of entry. So it's not like a free for all.
Right.
So that's our Mount Everest for the next 5 years. Yeah.
So what made you get into like the senior
space?
Yeah, the senior space.
So Steven has his origin story of how where he came from. He was a sales guy and was let go from his company and needed to go do this real estate stuff, but nothing was jiving with him because, no disrespect to our industry, but it's very casual. It's not professional, right? It's very like go in your shorts and shirt and go door knocking, right? Like it's very, it's casual. I'll say that. I don't want to say unprofessional because the kind of like support and ability that some of these folks have, like it doesn't matter what they're wearing. Right. Like that's the truth. Like pre-foreclosures and stuff like that. But he came from again, more corporate background and was trying to figure out how does he use the powers he already has to build a business. So that's where he started doing a lot more research of like, what is the data? Like he could spew the data like nobody's business about like, most seniors don't have $400 to their name in order for them to deal with a financial emergency, that sort of thing.
Right.
And so, but they're wealthy on paper because they own their own properties. So things like that, like that's important to know because these are the people we're serving, right?
Right.
And after he figured out how he could leverage getting leads from these communities, these senior living communities, he did 23 or 27 deals the first year he did it.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. And these were all investor centric. He kept a huge portion of that in his portfolio. And they were a very big discount because the properties were not in good shape. Right. So it's not as if he took advantage of people. It was just your house is falling apart.
Right.
I have to take. So he employed the BRRRR strategy quite a bit. That's how you can get so much money out tax free once you've improved the house. He's obviously taking the risk. He's got to fix, I forget how many plumbing jobs he had to do. He was telling me about the plumbing was ridiculous. All kinds of stuff, systems, ACs, roofs, all that good stuff. So anyway, so that's how he got involved. And then once he was telling me about it, because we were doing a fix and flip together, I was like, I love real estate. I think, don't get me wrong, it's great. But I was a caregiver for 8 years in my like teenage to 20s transition. it helped me while I was going to college. Go ASU.
Yeah.
And it connected me to these beautiful stories with seniors who have so much to offer if people would just sit their asses down and take the time to talk to them.
Absolutely.
So I love serving them because of how much I feel they deserve.
Yeah.
So when he was telling me about this business, I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
How do I become involved? Because I love real estate, but I love real estate with a purpose. And when you put a purpose into it, like it's not a job. It's
not
so
a job
easy.
at all.
Mhm.
Day and night.
Yeah.
So you have a great connection to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. My mom's still a caregiver herself. We still love to do we still love to serve more or less. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, awesome. If you guys are getting value, please make sure that you're hitting the like, share this with your friends. I see people are still in Instagram. What is that? Chacho says, my wife was an occupational therapist in a senior living community. I love this purpose. That's great, Chancho. You should, if she's in Arizona or not, actually, I would love to connect with her because like literally, my mom, unfortunately, was at the hospital this past weekend. She has a pinched nerve and some other stuff that for HIPAA purposes, I don't think I'm supposed to talk about it.
Sure.
But anyway, I brought my brochures. I was like, I'm bringing my brochures. They're going to know what we do, because when people end up in the hospital and they're under observation, like some of them can't get released to go back home.
Sure.
So I was like, hey, if you can't release some of your patients and they own their own home, here's an option. Yeah. But one of the things that they mentioned, in case any of you are inspired by this, they said that their biggest problem is homelessness, though. People who come, they have to serve them. They're required to. And they don't have a home to go back to. So I gave her a website called shelter/registry.com. And I have a good friend of mine named Kirsten. She's building up this website where if you have a shelter, or let's say even like a co-living place where it's very, very affordable to go rent a room there, that you should definitely register your property. And so her goal is to get this website out to law enforcement, hospitals, places that serve our unhoused community. I believe unhoused is another term that people use.
We have a 10-unit co-living project we're doing right now.
Oh yeah,
it was an absolute dump in La Crosse. Nobody. It was like a duplex, and nobody wanted it because the numbers didn't work. And I was like, wait a second, what if I made this into a 10-bedroom co-living space? And I just said affordable housing to the city council, and they're licking their chops. They loved it. So, So yeah, I mean, it's going to need an extensive remodel, but. And no money out of pocket.
Well, I like it. We plan on having Tracy Koa on this podcast. We're still figuring out what date. I was actually going to meet with her while we were here to see when could we have her on the podcast, because she has her Mount Everest. And this is where Owners Club, I think, kind of differentiates itself. Like the Mount Everest that you hear are significant, and they're supposed to be. Like Mount Everest is like a huge mountain to climb, right? And so part of that calling is how can you put a goal so big together that it literally changes the communities you're in. It changes and transforms your family's future. So the goal with these Mount Everest is to have these goals be so significant that you're literally changing the lives around you.
That's so true.
And that's what's exciting about the Mount Everest that it can have a really big impact if you're really thoughtful and intentional about what you're building. So as you guys were building your own businesses, is that something, because you just said like, hey, you're doing affordable housing, like how does that, so let's say it's successful, will that change maybe some of your goals and what you're focused on?
It will give me a different tool to pivot to that I'd never ever thought of until quite frankly, it's because of Squat Up Summit. I heard like everyone's talking like, what the hell is co-living? It's pad split. I'm like, that sounds dumb, like whatever. And then but that seed was planted in my head. Just from going to that event, which I wasn't supposed to be at, but I was going into the SubTo vault, and I just kept seeing this advertisement. I'm like, what the hell is Squat Up Summit? And click on it, and for some reason, like something was just pulling at me. Like, She's
Yeah.
like, gotta go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, Dana, I think I'm gonna go to this event. Are you
Yeah,
okay
yeah.
with that? So, but the seed was planted there, and then it just didn't work numbers wise. A deal's got to work number. You can't just bleed
Deals
money
have to-
nonstop.
Right.
But I mean, there is a big lacrosse is a massive hub for. We do have a lot of homelessness, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And these people are going to be vetted. We're putting vetted background check people in there. But I mean, gosh, if you could pay $400 or $500,
Yeah.
for a bedroom, 2 shared kitchens, 2 shared bathrooms, high speed internet, all utilities included,
Yeah.
like that is
Game
Right.
changing.
that is
right.
So I think there's a big need for that.
Yeah.
Especially with just it's becoming more expensive to own a house.
So have you priced out what that looks like for them?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think we're probably gonna do a price point of $450 to $495 a month.
Wow, really?
That's great.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
fantastic.
Where else can you live? In a really nice place. It's gonna have forced air furnace, central air, all that. We're converting that. We're making it really good standards of living. Off street parking. So we're really excited about it.
That's
That
fantastic.
is.
I mean, it's gonna need about 175 grand put into this thing, but
Yeah.
we only bought it for 75 grand.
That's
Oh,
great.
okay.
So
Damn, those
Yeah.
Wisconsin prices.
oh
My
my
Yeah.
God.
gosh, they're great.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe I
Okay,
need to buy in Wisconsin.
I'm
to
telling
buy
you.
in.
Take
The
a trip.
Midwest.
Take a trip.
Okay, I've
This
never,
is right
I've
on.
never been to Wisconsin.
I know. Well,
Never.
we
Don't come
open
in the wintertime.
invitation.
Are we
Spring,
hitting
summer, and
winter?
fall.
That's right.
Spring,
Spring is beautiful.
Yeah.
Autumn is beautiful.
Where we are, our farm
Summer.
that we live on is so
Yeah.
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 You live on a farm?
We just got changed, moved to a new primary.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I
80
love
acres of just
Do you have
it.
cows?
maybe my
Oh.
daughter. Then we want a dog, and then we want chickens, then we want goats, and then we
Chicken.
want horses. And
Okay.
I'm like, easy.
Alpaca.
We have a bunny.
Yeah.
Can't even they forget to put out some nights. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys forget about the bunny. He's just chilling in his cage all day.
You just need to put an alarm on so that they can see it and
Yeah,
have it go.
You want to take care of a horse, got to take care of.
They
You
get the
gotta take
Alexa
care of
to
the
do
bunny.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
love
Wisconsin's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
You got to
That's
come out
cool.
and
A
visit.
lot of green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I could right now get a ranch, I want cows, I want chickens, and I want goats.
Oh, nice.
Like those are the
Yeah.
essential animals.
Yeah.
I'm full blown like you need to eat meat. So I do
Mhm.
want like
I love meat.
cows. I like
You buy a
I
cow
love
every
my
year
beef
from a
too.
local
Yeah.
guy and pig.
I love it.
lamb,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Yeah, we're meat eaters.
It's good stuff.
oh fantastic. Yeah. Very cool. Well, putting it out there to you guys, what questions do you have about Owners Club, how to join? Again, if you're thinking about joining Owners Club, you have to go to Squad Up Summit, which is at the end of March in Dallas.
Yep.
Last year, the only way to join Owners Club was if you're at Squad Up or if somebody at Squad Up helped you get involved. So my business partner, Steven, and his wife, Angel, that was how they were able to get in, is because I was there. And so I was our in, and then they were able to connect that
Awesome.
way. So yeah.
You know, I actually had COVID before I came to Squad Up.
Oh
You're
yeah.
talking about how you almost didn't make it there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I almost didn't make it there.
Mm.
I even tried to cancel my airline ticket. They,
Oh, really?
wouldn't allow me to
You
do
tried
it.
to get out.
Tried to, and I tried to sell my ticket.
Mm.
I was lowering the price. Couldn't even sell my ticket. So I was like, okay. I literally did. I got better in 24 hours. It was
That's
weird.
awesome.
I was sick down as a dog, but
That's
then
interesting.
I was like, well,
Mhm.
so
Happens for a reason.
yeah,
Wow,
I did.
wow.
And look at Wisconsin
I know,
and
it's
meeting
awesome.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
I'm
Money
like,
birthday.
hey, Ingrid.
So what's in the horizon for you guys? So what does the next 6 months to a year look like? What's your focus, and how can folks out there help you?
Well, I'm literally working with a team
Mhm.
right now. 'Cause
Yeah.
that was something that I wanted to do. I didn't tell you all this, but I retired from a full-time job last year about this time. So I could work my real estate business
Yeah.
fully because I was been working it over the years. And
Yeah.
in fact, some people go, oh, you're working it part-time. No, I was still working my real estate business. It was like I had two full-time jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
So the joke is now some of my retired friends are like, Nidra, we thought you retired. I said, yeah, I retired from the college. I still have my business. This is my baby. So, and to me, it's not so
Yeah.
much like a business. But one of the things I wanted to do was to work with a team. And you know, Pace put together recently the No One Left Behind.
And OLB.
Yep. And so, you know, I was like, I want to be a part of a team.
Yeah.
You know, and so that has come together, and you know, we've had a couple deals under contract and working things out in Las Vegas, San Antonio, Austin area. Then I'm also working with another buddy. Shout out to Robbie Clark, where we're working things Wisconsin, Ohio, and Tennessee. So kind of like working various virtual markets, because this is where people are. You know, people who are part of that team, they're in those areas. So it's not like
where you have boots on the ground.
Have boots on the ground in those areas. So that's what I'm, you know.
Okay, so let's list it out for the audience. And hey, Brenda and Johnny, see you guys tomorrow. They're all flying into Boston. So if somebody wants to send you a deal, you're looking in Texas, in Nevada, Ohio, and Wisconsin,
and Tennessee.
Okay, got it. You guys are
great states.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that RV probably in Tennessee.
RV park
to
in
me,
Tennessee.
that's a game changer. So I'm looking to connect
for
with
me,
people.
because I'm like, when I think about RVs, I'm like, I don't want there to be where I have to deal with snow as much and deal with tornadoes and stuff like that.
I mean,
so I'm like, Arizona, baby, like that's where we're going. Like
so that's what I would be looking.
And my husband and I and our family, we go up north in Flagstaff where they have smaller RV parks, not like anything huge. And we hang out in the summer up there. We're like heat refugees. We go up there, like enjoy the cooler summers. Yeah. That's okay. Great. So you heard her. She wants deals in those markets, especially if it's an RV park in Tennessee. So very good. All right. And how about you, Spencer?
Our goal is my wife and I, every year, we either, like, if we're on a trip or we go to have a nice dinner, and we always write our goals for the year. And they cover everything from business to faith to just marriage to whatever it is. One goal on there that I'm like, ooh, she just brought it out, I think, like a few weeks ago. And she's like, hey, well, let's look at her goals. I haven't looked at it for a while. And I'm like, ooh, I got 330 doors on there by the end of the year.
Ooh,
okay. I can do this. So the goal is 330 doors by the end of the year total. And then that could be under contract. Normally when I get something under contract, it's closing. So that's the goal. We're going to do it. We're going to get it done. Mainly Wisconsin. I do like Arizona, Texas, Florida for multifamily or just a really sweet SubTo deal. But not growing to the portfolio we've gotten to, we've always used our own money. Like, really? Never ever have used a private money lender.
And you know what's funny? I've never used my own money except one deal.
So I'm hearing Pace and everybody at like, you guys are a bunch of liars. Like, no. And then I'm sitting there talking to Rinda and Heather and Danielle. I'm like, you guys are telling me, if I hire you, you are going to help me get private money lenders.
That's right.
Because I've just never asked for money. I've never done that. And they're like, oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
we have 2 deals.
So greedy.
I don't know. We have 2 deals under contract right now that I'm doing with them, and they've already got them funded.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. If I don't have to use my own money to buy real estate, like, bring me the multifamily, baby, the big ones. So, and I just superpowers of deal finding. So
I have somebody who has $12 million and wants 100 units or bigger in Arizona. So now that's what I need to go find.
Wow.
Now I've had a couple of people send me deals, and I underwrote it with Josh Evans. Shout out to Josh. I love his dad too, Jody. But he helped me figure out, like, it was a 50 unit where I was like, hey, they've been trying to sell since July, and it was because in October their mortgage changed. And it went up 10 grand. And so now they're basically losing $10,000 a month. And I was like, ouch. But this puppy's going to come for sale soon. You know, they short sell multifamily too, by the way.
Yes, they do.
So one of the things that I'm hoping to help them with is getting them connected with somebody I know who can help them with the short sell of the multifamily.
Yeah.
And they might have a buyer.
They're just
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like I would buy that at a price that makes sense for how much they're making. So
for sure.
Michelle Connor is asking, who are your friends here, Ingrid? Can you say their names again, please?
Sure.
Absolutely. So we have Spencer Nicoletti.
Nicolati.
Nicolati.
What's
Lottie.
up?
Lottie, Dottie, we like
yeah,
to party.
Yeah.
We don't cause trouble. We don't bother nobody. Okay, I was raised in the 90s, people.
That's
Okay.
right.
And then Nidra.
Bobo Boils.
Yeah.
Nidra
Okay.
Bobo Boils.
So I did see a couple people saying if they have deals, how do they get a hold of you?
Okay, so you can either, I have a new Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nidra BB. So,
Okay.
or actually, it's Nidra BB. ITS Nidra, which is N as in Nancy, EDRA BB.
Oh, it's Nidra BB.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Otherwise, just go to Capella Realty Group. That's my other Instagram. That's up right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can also give them my number.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Phone number, you can text 608-466-6065.
Wisconsin.
There we go. There we go. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank
and then
you.
Spencer, how about you?
Social media, all my handles. Instagram, probably the best way to get a hold of me. It's just S Nicolati. Nickel like the money, ATTI. So S Nickel like the money, ATTI.
Okay. Got it.
Or 608-498-1323.
Fantastic. And you guys know my handle because you're on here. So DM me if you have opportunities for me in Arizona, 100 units or more, RV parks. I'd be looking at that too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make sure I didn't have any other questions here. Yep, Michelle was asking how do I get a hold of you if you bring a deal. Okay. I think we covered everybody.
Yeah. And you can message me on Facebook too.
AllianceForaging.org in Florida would be a great start for when you come into this market. So I think she was talking about the senior living franchise that we're building to help seniors transition from their personal homes to long-term sustainable senior living. So very good. Well, thank you guys. So first of all, thank you. Thank you for coming on here. Steven, who's normally my co-host, he is on a plane right now from Boston. You know, hopefully everything's gone good because they have Olivia, which is their toddler.
Oh.
And this was a very long plane ride for her. I think
Really?
it's probably the longest plane ride. No, they went to North Carolina in the summer.
Is he coming from Arizona too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's a very long trip.
Yeah,
It's a very
from
long trip.
one coast to the next, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're coming from Arizona, and then so he couldn't be here with me. So I was like, I'm gonna go just wrangle me some owners club members, and this was your first podcast?
Yeah.
That's so
Correct.
cool.
Mhm,
Right on.
mhm,
And then
mhm.
what is it, like your 100th?
Not yet.
Okay.
5 or 6. I think.
5 or 6. Okay, fantastic. I'm sure they'd be happy to come on your podcast. If you guys have podcasts, go reach out to them
Too
too.
far.
And thank you everybody for joining. Anything else that we may have missed that you want to talk about or extend out to?
Oh, one more asks. Ingrid's probably going to find me something first, but me and my family want to live in Arizona for the
Mhm.
wintertime because Wisconsin winters suck.
Yeah.
So only creative, just a 3-4 bedroom house with a pool, Phoenix area. It's got to be creative. That's it.
Wow,
Okay, I
love
have
it.
one for you.
Perfect. We're not super picky. Like it's
No.
because while we're not there, I want a short-term rental.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I got my mom retired from being a paralegal. She manages our short-term rentals.
Mm.
So I'm like, I'm gonna find you another one because we have a place in Scottsdale
Okay.
on Camelback,
Okay.
just in the Maya condos.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I mean
Fantastic.
that thing's like a little.
It's too small.
Yeah, it's a nice moneymaker. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanna take that up because it's booked nonstop during the winter.
Yeah,
time. So
yeah.
yes,
Actually, that's going to be a struggle for you because in the summers in Arizona,
so
they are terrible.
we put it on Furnish Finder.
Mhm.
We've got 3 months booked in the hot time of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Oh, that's
someone that's
fantastic.
a travel nurse. I'm like, why didn't I think of this before? Because
Total
they just
travel
get an
nurse.
assignment to go somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
And I'm like, oh man, the
Mhm.
summertime sucks for bookings. But we
Mhm.
did that. Bam.
Bam.
3-month booking.
Nice.
Yeah, good for
I-
you.
it's not income we would have had ever in the past.
Yeah,
year, so,
yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in 2.5-bath condo townhouse
Ooh.
in Sedona.
The 3 or 4 bed.
With the 2-bed.
Okay.
No, but I just bought a 4-bed in Surprise that I wouldn't mind
I've
throwing
heard
at
great
you.
things about.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Surprise
Yeah.
is a nice area.
Yeah, and I have another one, but I just don't know how much you want to go with your down payment.
We're flexible.
Okay, because
I'm
I
flexible.
have a 4.2 that's probably going to cost probably around 170 down payment,
Okay.
and your monthly payments would be in the 2s, and there's no restrictions, so you could do midterm rentals and short-term rentals in that neighborhood.
I'd be open to that.
Okay,
I would.
all right, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Perfect.
Okay, guys.
Sweet. Doing deals.
I love
Like,
it.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all give my wife Donda a hug for me. Oh, Jim, that means you're not coming? What's up with that? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here with us. Don't forget, we are here every week on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Arizona time. So we'll catch you guys next week, and I appreciate everything. See you later.
See you guys.
Bye.